There's so much to learn and talk about while spending only 10 days in Spain. One of the first things you would notice while walking down the streets of Salamanca is the architecture. The cathedrals, the Plaza Mayor, statues, and streets have a significant meaning in some way and are built with great detail and creativity. When looking at the design on one of the sides of the cathedrals, there's so much detail and pictures that have been engraved in stone. When seeing the cathedrals for the first time, it's hard to take everything in at once. There are paintings, statues, tombs, angels, and saints everywhere. So much detail is surrounding each piece of history, it can take several minutes to absorb a small amount of information and interpret what the artist was trying to say. Each picture has a significant meaning or is meant to be translated to portray a different emotion. My first example is how even just a small figure carved out of stone at the top of a railing in a convent garden has a deep meaning. A man is hunched over with an agonizing look on his face, and his arms are crossed over his body. It shows how the pressure of the world can distort a person and life can be painful. This is something that can translate into the lives of everyone, no matter what era they were born in. My second example is one of the cathedrals of Salamanca. Each side has an enormous amount of detail, but one side in particular shows many different saints, Christ and his disciples, along with other murals that are above the doorways. Each person on the wall of the church has an important meaning and were carved in it to be forever remembered. At times it was hard to communicate with the people there because of the language difference. In the beginning, before we started classes, it was difficult to get basic things like the bathroom and get directions. After classes, it began to get easier, especially with being immersed in the language with host families, and it was completely necessary to speak Spanish. Towards the end of the trip, it was really rewarding to be able to have a simple conversation like, "Hello, how are you? I am good," etc. However, even with the language barrier, it was still not hard to meet friends and have a good time with strangers. While listening to our tour guides and reading the pamphlets that were given to us, I learned so much more than I would have at home. I learned about an earthquake that was strong enough to crack the cathedral walls, yet the cathedral is still standing today. I saw how the architecture plays a huge part in Spanish history, and it still plays a role in today's culture.